Hey guys, I'm David from Crosstalk Solutions, and today we're going to take a look at two Peplink 4G LTE routers. Now the two models we're going to take a look at here are the MAX BR1 Mini, as well as the MAX BR1 Enterprise LTE Advanced. 4G makes a great backup internet connection. You know, whenever your primary goes down, it swaps over to LTE, and it will stay on LTE till the primary comes back online. And once it does come back online, it just swaps right back over to it. Now you do see still a little bit of a blip, because it does take a minute to fail over, but your overall downtime is decreased. It's also great if you live in a place where you just can't get internet. Maybe your phones have good 4G signal, or you only have DSL or something like that. In central Pennsylvania, we see that a lot. So it makes a good primary connection as well. It's also great for mobility applications such as, transportation vans, buses, fleet management, or even, first responders. We have a lot of, ambulances and police departments that are deploying these in their cars for tracking their cars and giving their workers internet connection. So there are a lot of other brands that make 4G routers. The reason we're taking a look at Pepwave today is because I had them in stock and I use them a lot. Now there's other brands like Cradlepoint, MikroTik, and I'd be glad to take a look at these as well with you and outline, the differences and the different price points for each one. But today we're just going to look at Peplink. Let me know if you want to see some of the other brands in the future. Okay, so we're going to take a look at these two routers. The first one we're going to look at is the MAX BR1 Mini. And then we'll look at the MAX BR1 Enterprise LTE Advanced, and then we'll compare the two. So starting here, you can see that there is an industrial power port that can be hooked up to directly to 12 volts. So you can plug this right into your vehicle. There's also some indication LEDs that will tell you, the status of the Wi-Fi signal and cellular. There is also a LAN/console port and another LAN port. You can get a little breakout device that gives you a console port if you plug it into this LAN connection here. And the second one can operate as a secondary WAN. That being said, you got to pay a one-time fee of like $99 to enable that. But a lot of times I have another device, doing the failover itself. And right here you have, the standard 120 volt wall wart that you plug into the wall, and it will give it power if you're running it, in a home or office. Let's go here to the back. You see a whole bunch of SMA connections. These provide GPS, a MIMO cellular connectivity option, as well as a little Wi-Fi antenna. This device comes with the basic little antennas that, can be screwed right into this. But you can also buy something like this external 4G antenna that you mount on the outside of your building. That way, essentially you bring the signal in. That being said, an omnidirectional like this doesn't really give you too much extra signal. It just brings the signal outside of the building in. But you can get a very directional antenna that will help you really aim this in on a tower and get you a better signal. But as you can see, this has two little SMA connectors that just screw into it, and you can get some, coax to run to the actual box. Okay, so back over at this guy, it has, mounting options right here on the side. It has a very sturdy build on it. If it's all metal on the outside. It has a crazy operating temperature, which I'll put right here because I don't remember at the moment. Back here on the SMA connections, there's this little hatch that opens up where you can put two SIM cards. I will add that this one, unlike the other one, has a Wi-Fi modem built into it. So it's almost like a little standalone application for a vehicle, or, maybe a very small home somewhere that has, a little Wi-Fi antenna that will screw into it and give you Wi-Fi. The other one, is kind of expecting you to have an access point or a whole other system that will give Wi-Fi. I believe also, if I remember correctly, you can do Wi-Fi as WAN. So whenever this thing connects or gets close to a Wi-Fi access point that it knows with the SSID and password, it'll actually start sending your traffic through there to kind of reduce the load on your 4G connection. But let's take a look at the next router. Okay, so the next 4G router we're going to take a look at here is the MAX BR1 Enterprise LTE Advanced. Now the comparison's kind of unfair because this one does operate on LTE Advanced. So if your carrier supports it, as well as, your plan, this thing can pull up to 300 megabits per second down and 50 up. Just like the other one, a very sturdy build quality. It has multiple mounting options. You can, pretty much bolt this wherever you need it to go. On the front here, it's a little bit different. See, it has a USB port, as well as two dedicated LAN connections. And one of those connections that kind of operates as a LAN or as a WAN, depending on if you need it and if you unlock that feature. Over here it has a 12 volt and 48 volt terminal block for, getting this wired up wherever you need to. And of course it has the standard 12 volt connection that comes with, that comes with it, so you can plug it into 120 volts. Here on the back with the SMA connectors, it does look a little bit different because it does not have Wi-Fi built into it. There's a cellular main SMA as well as a cellular diversity SMA, and as well it has a little GPS SMA. Let's talk about the GPS connection a little bit. So it comes with this little GPS antenna with, VHB tape on it so you can stick it wherever you need to. It might have a magnet on it, I'm not sure. But essentially in the Peplink InControl 2 cloud-based software, you can track where this thing went, you can put up geo-fences for alerts, and it really makes fleet management easy. It's nice to have that feature. If you do buy the cloud management tool, it's $30 a year. It gives you a lot of features. You can just kind of track where it goes, set up alerts, all kinds of things. But back here on the front of it, we have that same little hatch. This one's a little bit bigger to put your SIM cards in. You just got to unscrew this little tiny screw, put them in, screw it back in, and you're good to go. But that's pretty much the only visual difference between the Max BR1 and the Max BR1 Mini. Sorry, the Enterprise versus the Mini. They do have different applications. So this one has a lot more power kind of built into it for a little bit faster VPN connection or speed fusion, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So this is really made for an enterprise environment that kind of already has a network set up. They don't need Wi-Fi. It can function as your failover system, and both of these devices can actually do IP pass-through, which is really nice, especially if you have VoIP that you need to keep up and running. You can't have double NAT in there. Okay, so these routers have a lot of similar features. For example, they both have an internal web-based GUI. If you browse to their IP address of 192.168.50.1, you'll see this nice web GUI pop up that does all of the configuration that you really need. That being said, Peplink has a product called InControl 2, which is their cloud-based management system. Has a ton of features, works great, and that's a whole video in and of itself. Essentially, with InControl 2, as long as you have the serial number, you can pop that into your cloud-based management system and start configuring and getting some basics set up before the router even comes online. So the second it comes online, it just starts grabbing this information and doing the provisioning. They both have something called Speed Fusion. Now, Speed Fusion is actually a really cool service that they're offering. So normal failover, whenever you fail over from one connection to the other, you have a blip. It could be anywhere from 10 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever your particular settings are, and getting that fine-tuned can be difficult. But Speed Fusion actually makes the transition seamless. If you hunt around online, Peplink actually has a video where they have a VoIP phone on speaker with a call out, where they physically cut the internet connection and it fails over to cellular, and you can't even tell with the VoIP call. They do this by essentially creating two VPN connections out each WAN, and then bonding them on each side. And this makes a really solid connection. That being said, you need something on the other side, whether it's their Speed Fusion Hub, which is just an ISO image that you install on AWS or similar, where they're both connecting back and forth constantly on this like VPN-like connection. So when one does go down, it just shoots out the other seamlessly. You can also do this between sites. Maybe you have two Pepwaves that are running a VPN connection between the two, and you have two ISPs on each side. You can actually use Speed Fusion to kind of bond them together and make a seamless failover for that internet connection. Okay, so that's pretty much all for this video. Now, there are a lot of features that we kind of just scratched the surface on. If you would like to see some more videos of maybe how the cloud system works or even Speed Fusion, let us know down in the comments. Also, if there's other 4G brands you would like us to look at, let us know. We have experience with a lot of other brands, but like I said, these are just the ones I had in stock. From Crosstalk Solutions, I'm David. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.